Welcome back to another episode on the Doughty podcast, where I show you how to expand your awareness by creating episodes that have to do with life in general, but just the practical side of spirituality. Step by step what to do. It's kind of what the focus of the podcast is. And today's episode is all about my personal habits that I use for raising my vibration, but not just raising my vibration, also manifestation. What do I personally do? I was actually talking to my assistant yesterday, who's awesome, and we were kind of going over different content ideas and stuff. And I was talking about like some of the things I want to share more of. And one thing that she mentioned is she's like, it'd be really cool if you shared more of like what you personally do, like the specifics of it. Because a lot of times in my videos and my episodes that I do, sometimes I'm very general. I'm like, oh, well, stop chasing this, stop doing this. And what I realize is like the specifics are sometimes nice. So I'm getting better at like explaining specifics and stuff like that, but also just in general, I want to share like the habits, like behind the scenes, like what I personally do. Some of this stuff's going to be repetitive because you've probably heard me talk about it in other videos before and other podcast episodes, but I'm just going to kind of run through a lot of the habits I have. And then what I thought I would also do is share some of the beliefs behind the habits. So I'm not just sharing the habits, I'm sharing like the belief system behind the habits and why I do it. So these are like high vibe habits, manifestation habits, things I do every day, some of which you're going to know, but in general, I'm just going to kind of run through my day and share with you certain things. Now, one thing that I do and I have been doing lately is I do something where I put an energy field around my body. And one of the reasons I do this, and I think that anybody, like our energy is so, we're constantly bumping up into other people's energy. And when people are thinking about you, they're sending you energy. There could be thought forms, and they're sending you energetic, like energies. The thing is, like, I think there's a belief system behind it too, to where like if you believe it has power over you, maybe it has more power than it needs to have. But in general, one thing that I realized recently, I had a session with a friend in Sedona, and this session, one of the things I became aware of is that there's just so much energy being projected at me because of what I do for a living. Because, there's an old book that I used to read that used to talk about this idea of what are called pendulums. And pendulums are like these thought forms. And when many people are focused on one thing, it creates a thought form that then is like a mass wave thought form that gets sent towards, or not. Yeah, I mean, when you're thinking about someone, it gets sent towards them. So like anytime there's like a basketball game, there's like so much energy in the field. And even like I've been watching, there's like a UFC fight the week that I'm recording this. And they were talking, like some of the fighters are talking about how it's not the same because they're going into these UFC fights. They're doing them inside these little, like, obviously the octagon's like normal, but they're doing it in rooms with just like 10 people that are like the crew that are like, filming and recording it, but there's no big crowd like usual. And some of the fighters miss the crowd. And one of the reasons they miss the crowd is because they get high on the crowd. Literally, the crowd is like sending them so much energy. They're so energetically passionate about the fight. So they're like sending the fighters energy and they get high on that. And many public speakers have talked about this before. People that are in the limelight talk about this. There's like a high that comes with doing live events. And it's because you have so many people focused on one person or on like something that's happening. So there's an energetic component to that, and that's called a pendulum. And one thing that I've realized about myself is that because I'm on YouTube, because I'm on podcasts, and I like am out there, like for a living, I'm like putting ideas out there. There's people that are consuming that are also sending me energy, even subconsciously without even knowing it. There's people that may like what I have to say, that may not like what I have to say, that might, have their own opinions about it. But there's people that when they think of me, they may be sending me energy. Even if they don't know where I live, it's just like an energetic thing because we all exist within a collective consciousness. So one thing that I've been doing lately is I've been putting an energetic field around me. And what I do is when I wake up in the morning, I imagine this energetic field around me. And I imagine it in like sometimes I do like a green color that's around me. And what I do is I breathe it in. So what I do is I imagine this like orb around my body, transmuting all energy into light and love, and having and like protecting me. I have almost like a barrier. Now you got to be careful, because when you think, oh, I have something that's protecting me, then it's like you have a belief system that's implying that something can actually hurt you. But what I'm doing is I'm just realizing that there's a lot of energy that is being projected. So what I do, and I love you all, okay? Not saying you guys, all of you listening are the ones I'm just saying in general, and it could be very good energy. Some people are projecting me like positive energy, like thank you so much for the videos and stuff. It's great, but it's still other people's energy that are being projected at me. So one thing I've been learning to do lately is to put this energetic field around my body so that it's transmuting any energy. Because sometimes people reach out to me or they'll DM me and they'll like want help. And maybe they'll be mad if I can't like personally help them, you know what I mean? And then it's like different energy, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's very good energy. But just in general, putting an energetic field around my body might sound a little bit weird, but I do a green energetic field around my body. And what I do is I charge it with intention. That intention is that it transmutes all energy into light and love, and that it repels any negative intentions of others, transmutes that. And by having that kind of intention right when I wake up in the morning, I find that even if it's just a permission slip, it's very powerful for like leading on throughout the rest of my day. So I do that in the morning. I also do that at night right before I go to bed. I'll get into a little bit about like my night routine as well, because I definitely have certain things that I do. But in general, the things I want to share, first off, I'll kind of share the philosophy. You know, I'll share the specifics of what I do, but some of the philosophy behind what I do that I believe has changed my life the most. And a lot of this has to do with the identity work that I talk about. You know, when you change your identity, that's what changes your life more than anything else. And your identity is who you think you are. And your thoughts, your feelings, your actions are equal to who you think you are. And if you do the same things, feel the same thoughts feel the same emotions every day, think the same thoughts, do the same things every day, you're going to get the same results over and over again. The reason people think their personality is fixed is because they continue to do the same thing over and over again. And as people get older, they tend to do less new things. So then there's less redefining who they are. Our personalities are not fixed. Our personalities are extraordinarily flexible. The key is giving yourself permission to do something new, to be a new way, to literally look at the future version of you of the way you prefer to be, and just deciding that this is who I am now. So when I look at my life and what I do on a daily basis, like right now I'm recording content. I just woke up a little bit ago and I'm recording content. This is a part of my identity. When I was working that 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, my identity was I get to work every day, I sell women's shoes, I talk to customers, I go to lunch break. I'll normally on my lunch break back in the day, I would always be watching YouTube. That was my sanctuary back in the day working my 9-to-5 job, was me reading online, listening to music, and doing my own research for an hour a day, eating the food that I would normally eat Chipotle every day. And then I'd go back to work. But that hour was like super magical for me. And what happened, honestly, the best thing that I've ever experienced is going from a 9-to-5 job that I did not enjoy with corporate bullshit that I had to deal with, managers who had like little ego trips, and I worked at Barney's New York and women's shoes here in Las Vegas, and the best feeling was when I started literally bridging the identity, and I started making daily videos on YouTube. It completely changed my self-image. I realized before I saw myself as lazy. Now I had this reference experience. Just from one choice, I decided I'm going to make videos every single day no matter what. And that was the version of me that I prefer to be. And within months, my YouTube channel exploded. I started gaining momentum. I started realizing, hey, there's a way I can monetize this. I just got to figure it out. So I started learning internet marketing. And within 6 months, I went in, like 4 or 5 months, I went in to work, put in my 2 weeks. My last day was the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. I was scheduled to open that day before I put in my 2 weeks, because they probably wouldn't have given it to me if I would have put in my 2 weeks and then asked to open. And then what I did is I opened that day, then I went, watched the fight with friends. That was the last day I ever had a job or I had to work. And that was back in 2017. And it was probably the most meaningful week. Like every day after that, I got up and I was still working. I was still making daily videos. I was making like 2 or 3 videos a day for a while because I wanted to get ahead. And I was just super excited to not have a job anymore. Like, the biggest jump you will ever make in your life, ever, is when you go from working a 9-to-5 job to then working for yourself. It is more of a jump of, let's say you make $30,000 a year at your job, and then you work for yourself and you make $30,000 a year, or even $20,000 a year. Or yeah, of course you have to, I don't know, you can't really live on $20,000 a year, but the idea is, if you, let's say $50,000 a year at your job, and then you quit your job, and then you're making $50,000 a year working for yourself, or even $45,000 a year, you can live on that. Most people. That is a bigger jump doing that than it is from going from like $50,000 a year to making like $200,000 a year, because you buy your time back, and time is a better resource in my opinion than money. Your time is like, oh my God, it's amazing. So what I had to do in the beginning though is I had to view myself as the full-time YouTuber, and I had to embody that with my actions, my thoughts, my emotions. And I thought, and I remembered, what does the future version of me think, feel, and do on a daily basis? And I got to download, make a video every day until you don't have to work anymore. So I said, I'm going to commit to this idea. I'm going to commit to this version of me. I'm going to make videos every single day, no matter what. And then I started making videos every single day, even when I had to go to work and it was busy at work and there was like a lot going on and I was working 40 hours a week. I was making videos like 30 hours a week, but I believed in that vision, and I just decided that this is my new identity. This is how I prefer to be. And from that daily action of making a video every single day, it completely transformed my life so much that it was almost hard for me not to make a video a day anymore. Even now, like 2.5 years later, I decided to go, or 3 years later, I decided to go from making videos every single day to making videos 4 times a week. And it was such a big jump because so much of my identity was tied into making a video a day on YouTube. Yes, it helped me to get to where I'm at now, but now it's like I've got the momentum. I've been, like doing what I'm doing for a long time. I don't have to continue to make a video a day. Now I do 4 videos a week, which still to some people probably seems like a lot. But the reason I share that whole story with you is because if you want to bridge the reality of where you are to where you want to be, you need to take on the new identity of that version of you and decide that's who you are now, regardless of the external circumstance. When I went daily on YouTube at that 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, I wasn't like, I need to do this. I'm going to do this for 3 days, and if nothing pops, then I'm not going to do it anymore. I did it because it's who I prefer to be. Making videos was a part of my identity, my preferred identity. So I decided that this is who I am now. Even if I'm not getting great results, I'm going to trust this process. I'm going to refine the craft, get better at marketing, get better at thumbnails, get better at these different aspects I didn't really enjoy at first, but then I grew to love them. I grew to love the different levels of like, it's such a cool strategy, learning how to market your ideas and how to get people to pay attention to it and how to get people to like transform their lives. Like that was so passionate for me to like learn. I felt so passionate about it, and the daily action of doing it and being that identity changed my whole life. So even to this day, every single day, what I do is when I get up in the morning, one of the first things I do is I wire in that identity by being that version of me. Now, here's the thing. At first, it may seem weird. When I was first starting making daily videos, I was living at my dad's house. I was having to make videos in my sister's room, which my dad did not like because I don't know why. He just didn't like me doing videos in my sister's room. I think he didn't like that I would like leave the camera up sometimes, or he was worried. Like my sister Lizzie, she loved it when I would make videos in her room. She thought it was so cool because then she'd be like, "Oh, that my brother's videos. It's in my room," because her room just had a cool background, like that I used. But he didn't like that. I'd go in the backyard and make the videos, and I knew that he could I had to overcome the fears of caring what people think. I had to overcome the fear of like the story, like, oh, I'm making law of attraction videos, but I'm living at my dad's house. You realize whatever you do, it's your own sabotage and your own beliefs that try to keep you where you are. So what I had to realize is, hey, I work 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, and it's a commission-based job. I get to see, how much I make every day based on commission. I could apply the law of attraction every day. I'm going to share that. Yes, I'm not a fucking millionaire or anything, but then if I share that, then eventually, I can help people just get understand more about the law of attraction or what I'm passionate about. You have to give yourself permission. That's what I realized. So doing and making that daily activity of that identity has changed my life so much. That's why I'm spending so long talking about it in this episode. You're like, get to the juicy habits, well, that's the biggest habit that like changed my identity, is me being that version of me every single day consistently. And to this day, it leaks into what I do. I got up this morning. I'll tell you exactly what I did when I got up, but then this is like, creating the content's going to help get the message out there to help people to wake up to more of who they are, to transform their lives. This is a part of my identity. This is how I see myself. So what I encourage you to do is to look at that future version of you, the one that you prefer to be, the one that's living, acting, feeling the ideal identity that you prefer, and then simply decide that that's who you are now. Ask that version of you, what is one thing you do every single day that if I apply in my life, will change and bridge my reality? And you'll normally get an answer. And the answer could be for me, it was making a video every single day. For you, it could be painting every day. It could be honing certain crafts, reading certain type of books. Pay attention to what comes up. That, for me, changed my life more than anything. Now, let me kind of run through. That's like the identity change work. I can give you cool little things like, oh, I do this and I do that. But that's like one of the main things is like I made videos every single day. I saw myself as that version of me, and I just trusted. I did it for the sake that this is who I am, not because of what it'll get me. If you do things for a certain result, then you are doing it for almost the wrong reason. You're doing it for an external change instead of an internal change. When you do it because it's who you are, that's the level of identity. I make videos and do podcast episodes because it's like a part of who I am. I spread these ideas, and because it's a part of my identity, it's like something that's very easy for me to maintain. Sometimes people ask me, how do you make so much content? It's not very hard because it's a part of my identity. If it weren't a part of my identity, then it would be very difficult. So it's identity. Now, let me share some of the things that I do. So, for example, this morning, right when I got up, what I do is the very first thing I do is I go over to that of the meditation. I have like a meditation sacred spot right next to that of my bed. And there's a candle, and there's one candle on it. The flame, I have like a lighter next to it. I light the candle. I stare at that candle flame for about 15 minutes. And the reason being is because when your eyes are focused on one point, your mind tends to not wander so much, so it becomes easier to observe your thoughts. So what I do is I stare at that candle flame, and I observe my thoughts for 10, 15 minutes a day, and I just allow the thoughts to be there. I don't try to control them. It's not wrong that they're there. If you fight the thoughts, they multiply. It's almost like that mythological creature that every time you chop off one of its heads, the dragon heads or whatever, more and more come on. That's kind of what happens. So if you try to fight your thoughts, then what happens is they multiply. You're creating more resistance. And instead, observe your thoughts. And as you observe your thoughts, what happens is they just come in and they go out. They come in, they go out. And you'll find that then there's more space in your mind. And when there's more space in your mind, you feel more clear. And then whenever you set intentions, it's much more powerful. So what I do is every single day, I meditate. I stare at that candle flame for 10 or 15 minutes a day. I observe my thoughts as they come in, and I spend about 10, 15 minutes doing that. And towards the end, what I do is I feel gratitude for things in my life. And then also I feel gratitude for things I want to bring in my life. And then what I do is I put that energetic field that I'm talking about, the green energetic field around me, and I charge it, and I ask it to be activated all day long. Please stay activated all day long. Transmute all energy into light and love. Any negative intentions be transmuted and be carried with me with whatever I do today. Then what I do is after that, I brush my teeth real quick, and then I go and I have a cold plunge that's on the balcony of next to my master bedroom upstairs. You go outside, there's this cold plunge. It's a freezer that's been jerry-rigged. I had somebody do this so it was safe. But basically, it's like a big freezer that you'd find at like Costco or something, and then it's caulked. So I had like my handyman caulk it, and so that it seals it. And then what I do is I leave the freezer on. It's at about 40 to 45 degrees. The water, it's a huge freezer. And then what I do is I turn off the freezer. Of course, like I have to be safe about it. They sell like actual cold plunges, but they're like very expensive. They're like $4,000 or $5,000. This one was $500. And then what I do is I get in there for about a minute and a half, and I put on a music. The song that I put on, here's the interesting thing. The song that I put on to me getting into the cold plunge is the same song every single day. It's Beyond the Invisible by Enigma. and I love Enigma. It's like very spiritual vibe music. And I put it on because it's like a primer, like primes my day. What I do is I get in that water and I breathe and I allow the feelings to come up. I allow the resistance to come in and I just get present with it. I'm only in there about a minute, 30 seconds, minute, 20 seconds. And when I get out, I go stand in the sun normally for about a minute. And then I go inside and I take a cold shower for like 10 seconds. Because for some reason when my shower turns on, it even at the cold setting, it's still kind of warm, and I want it to be like cold, like ice cold. So the first like 10 seconds are really cold. So I 10 seconds, I kind of rinse off with some soap that I put on my body, and then I get changed, and then after that, I come downstairs, and I do my content for the day, whatever that is. And what I do is the night before, I'm even doing it right now. On the night before, I have my iPad, and on my iPad, I write down like my top 3 or 4 things. 3 or 4 things I find are pretty easy to stay accountable for. So mine say today, record video podcast, which I'm doing right now. Email, which means send out an email. I have to make an ad for a Facebook thing that I'm doing. And then I'm going to make a TikTok. And I have like the title of the TikTok. So I'm already primed to do these things for the day. And then what I do is I do the things I'm most passionate about, which is making videos and like bridging and bringing in that identity that I've been talking about. So right now I'm making a podcast episode. It could be recording a YouTube video. It could be just making a TikTok. It could be sent on email. Sometimes I have days off. I have a day off once or twice a week where I really don't do anything. I'm back in Vegas now, and it's funny. Being in Vegas, it's like the energy here really encourages me to get stuff done, be very productive. When I'm at the Sedona house, it's like I just want to go to the creek and relax and go inside, go inside my personal life and stuff like that. So it's interesting. By the way, I get asked so many times from people like, how can I go full time doing what I love? And I have an idea. I'm a life coach, or I'm an aspiring life coach. I want to like have a YouTube channel. I want to start a podcast. I want to share my ideas. I want to share my services. And with everything happening in the world right now, everything is going online. Everything is going online. It seems like everything is going online. And there's never really been a better time to get online, to share your message, even if you don't want to be out there, but to like share your services, whether you're a healer, whether you're a coach, whether you're a consultant, whether you're an artist. Whatever you are, you can go full-time doing what you love, and it's easier than you think. I remember when I first got to 50,000 subs, I like reached out to this guy that had like 80,000 subs, and he was full-time. I'm like, what do I do to go full-time? Like, how many subs do I need? And he goes, bro, it's not about subs. He says, you can go full-time with 1,000 subscribers or like 500 subscribers if you know the strategy and you know how to get a couple clients. And that was a big game changer for me too. And as I talked to my buddy Victor about it, and he was like, if you go to your YouTube subscribers, let them know that you're coaching people, you can literally get like, what is your bills every month? I was like, it's like $1,600 a month. He's like, oh, well, that's like 5 coaching clients or 6 or 7 coaching clients. That's all you got to get. And out of your 50,000 people, you can for sure get that. Out of 500 people, you could get 6 coaching clients, you know? So, or even less, but it's way less. It's way easier than you think when you have the right strategy. And if I were to know what I know now, back when I started on YouTube, I literally would have gone full time at like 1,000 subscribers, but I didn't know it, you know? But one thing that I do help people do is I help people go full-time doing what they love. My buddy Victor Odo and I do it. We do it with something called full-time purpose. There's a lot of people in full-time purpose. We've helped many people go full-time doing what they love, starting from scratch. And what you do is you go to fulltimepurpose.com. There's a training there where we show you exactly how we went full-time doing what we love. It is fulltimepurpose.com, fulltimepurpose.com. And that's going to show you step-by-step how to go full-time doing what you love so that you don't have to have some draining 9-to-5 job and you can live in the freedom lifestyle you want. You know, I get to go back and forth between Sedona and here. Victor just bought a house in Sedona, so he's going back and forth from Vegas to there with his kids and his wife. And it's super exciting times we live in, but we love helping people do it. I have a buddy of mine who just went full-time, and it was from one conversation we had. He realized something. And then he started applying it, and he got like 8 or 10 coaching clients paying $300 a month for his coaching, which he says is awesome. People getting great results. And now he quit his job. So it's really cool to see. It's really empowering. So if you want to learn how to do that, you go to fulltimepurpose.com, join that training, and we'll show you step-by-step what to do. So anyways, the most important thing I do is that identity change work. Now, let me share with you a little bit about what I've been doing workout-wise. So I'm a big fan of doing like workout. I love workout. I know it's a very young thing, but I used to work out 6-7 days a week, and I was very lean. But here's the thing. I love working out. It's funny. Working out is kind of like a symbol for like how to like transform your life as well. Like you need to like go beyond your comfort zone. So imagine a muscle. Imagine you do like 10-pound weights and you bicep curl those like 100 a day. Well, it's such a low weight, for most people. Maybe not everybody. Maybe like just for me and other people as well. But if you're doing like 5 or 10 pounds, you do even like 50 to 100 times, unless you put more stress on it after that. Like say you do that for a week. If you keep doing that every week, you're going to get the same result. You're not really going to change much because you're not challenging your muscles. But if you go in and what you do is you then go to like 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 pounds, then it's like there's stress on your muscle and it's causing it to break down to then rebuild. And you're going beyond the comfort zone. So one thing that I've been doing lately is I've been really focused on bulking, which means like getting bigger, getting stronger. And I used to work out 6-7 days a week. Now, actually, I'm changing it back a little bit, so let me explain it to you. So what I did is I work out. I do like, on like Mondays, I do like chest and what do? I do like, on Mondays, I do shoulders and back. And then on Wednesdays, I do legs and core. And then on Fridays, I do like chest and a little bit of back. So that has been my workout for the last 2 months because I've been bulking. And I realized that before I was doing way too much. I was like, I was doing way too much. Like I was working out 5-6 times a week. Of course, it's hard to get bigger when you're working out so much. And I was running like sometimes 4 to 5 miles a day of cardio. It's quite a bit. And then I got a bike and I've been biking a lot, which is cool, but it was hard for me to gain weight. Well, it was because I was doing too much. So what I did is I peeled it back and I went to 3 days a week, and I've been doing that for a couple months now. And I've gained about 10-15 pounds of muscle, but a lot of it's, or not of muscle, 10 to 15 pounds, but a proportion of its muscle, but also a proportion of its fat. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to be going back to about 4 times a week, and I'm going to be doing more cardio. I completely stopped doing cardio for some reason. I think I went to Sedona, and I was just like, I don't need a cardio. I could just chill, but cardio, I enjoy cardio. I enjoy running, and I think that anybody listening to this, if you run every day or do elliptical or bike, some type of physical exercise is so powerful. You're working out the biggest, like your heart is a muscle that needs to be worked out, and it needs to pump blood and it needs to stay healthy. So I'm going to continue to do cardio. I might lose a little bit of my gains, but I'm also going to lose a lot of the fat that I've got in my stomach from doing that. I'll be good in probably 3 weeks. And I had to get on top of my diet too. I was eating, I was like, it was funny. I had this like running joke in Sedona where I'm like, I'm bulking. Every time we'd go out to eat, I'd like eat way more than I normally would. And I'd be like, I'm bulking. Yeah. Do you want to order this? I'd be like, I'm bulking. So I'd say that like to everything. So it's funny because now it's like, I'm not bulking anymore, but I'm still going to be, I still eat what I want, but I had to balance it out. I realized I went too much on one side to where I stopped doing cardio. I started eating way more. And then now now for me, I ran 4 miles yesterday and it was super challenging, and it normally wouldn't be that hard for me. So that's kind of like my workout routine that I've been doing. And I'm going to now I think hitting every body part, every muscle, like so legs twice a week, back twice a week, chest twice a week, shoulders twice a week. I'm going to hit everything twice a week, which means I'm going to do 4 times a week. I'm going to work out, and it's like in 2 days, it's going to work out well. So I'm going to do that. I'm switching to that, but I work out. I do like working out. I know some spiritual people you listen to, they're probably like, I just do like yoga and stuff like that. I think yoga's awesome. I should do it more. I used to do Bikram yoga, like once or twice a week. And I don't know why I stopped, but I did. Well, now it's like Bikram yoga is probably not happening with all that stuff going on in the world, but yoga's powerful. You could do things like watch YouTube videos and do workout routines, but move your body every single day. I've learned from my mistake of this last month of I feel so good when I'm in shape, but a little more in shape. So it's a balance. It's not like I have to completely stop bulking, but I need to start doing more cardio and stuff. And but on the other end of it, I don't want to start doing so much like I used to where it's almost impossible for me to get bigger, get better results because I'm doing too much, That's why less is more sometimes. It's one of the themes I've been learning. So let's see. What else do I want to share with you? So that's my workout routine that I've been doing every single day. the cold plunge, the shower, the video, the email. Something I do after this, what I'll do is I'm going to go outside and ground myself in grass and just walk barefoot. One of the main reasons I got this house in Vegas, because it's actually pretty rare in Vegas to have a house with grass, is I'm going to go and I'm going to walk barefoot on grass for probably like a couple minutes just to ground my energy from being in the doing like technology and being in creation mode. It helps me to recharge my batteries. So I walk barefoot on grass. You can hug a tree. You could get in water. If I was in Sedona, I'd be going to the creek. I go to the creek every single day in Sedona. When it gets wintertime, I don't know if I will every day. Maybe I'll do other things. I am buying I have to go to the bank today to wire money over. I bought a Polaris like ATV thing. It's like this big thing that you can like ride in the desert and dunes and stuff like that. I don't know if you call it dune buggy. I don't know what it's called, but I bought one of those and I'm super excited to be doing that in Sedona. I want some stuff with an adrenaline rush is what I realized. Like that's like a toy that'll be fun that I'll use a lot, and I'll maybe like put the GoPro on it and show some stuff from it. But I'm trying to mix up my life with a couple. Sometimes when we're like into spirituality, we assume you just got to be into like crystals and like yoga and stuff. But I think we came here to have an experience of physicality. So doing things like things like ATV or stuff like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So it's something that I'm doing. I'll share with you more about that on my Instagram and stuff like that as well. So something else that I do is every single day normally, especially if anyone comes into my house, no offense if anyone comes into my house, but I always sage my house after people leave. And it's to clean, like sage is a plant, that's been used for thousands of years, that's been burned and used to like clear negative energy. So it's almost like within the collective consciousness, because so many of us have that intention and that's how it's been used in ceremonial times. I feel like it just has a power to it. Then I sage my house, which, when I walk around my house, I sage like the corners of it. In my house itself, I also have an energetic grid set up of all these crystals. I went to like the Tucson Gem and Rock Show, which is like where I bought all my crystals. And what I did is I have them all around my house and mainly in corners and stuff as well. And then what I do is I've set intentions that all these energies between these crystals connect together to set up an energetic grid around my house. And the cool thing is that I get people that come to my house that say the energy in your house is so good. The people love being in the energy of my house, and it's because I've put that intention into it. When I got the house, it took me a couple of weeks to get the energy to be my energy mainly, but now I definitely say that it is. And originally I was thinking of like possibly moving out of this house because the owner wants to sell it. And he's like, you can either stay in the house, or if I sell it, then you can get out sooner. And I have a lease till June of 2021, so which is in like a year from now, a little less than a year from now. And I'm not here as much as I was now that I have the Sedona house, but I do love this house, and I do love being able to get away. Like Sedona has such powerful energy, but when you're in Sedona too much, it's like you forget what it's like to not be in Sedona, and it's almost like it's constantly bringing up personal work for you to do. So it's almost like you get a breather when you leave Sedona. Also, it's a little bit harder for me to work in Sedona. The energy in Sedona really emphasizes and encourages personal work, personal growth, and creative work, but not necessarily like getting business work done. So when I come here, it's so easy for me to get ahead on things and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to stay. I think I'm going to keep this house in Vegas, until that June of 2021, at least is what I think I'm going to do. So, anyways, another thing that I do. So I sage every single day, especially after people leave my house. As I go to bed at night, I put that force field around my bed of love and light. I literally and I set the intentions that I remember my dreams every single morning right when I wake up. And what I do is I imagine a green sphere around my bed. And what I do is I ask for my spiritual guides to come help and assist. I believe we have to give free will sometimes to our spiritual guides to help with certain things. So I ask for my spiritual guides to help assist in clearing out the energy in my room and my house, and to also help me set an energetic grid around my bed of love and light so that I have restorative, amazing sleep, and that I wake up feeling refreshed, and that I wake up feeling gratitude in my heart in the morning. that I remember my dreams and any symbols from my spiritual guides and symbols in my dream that I can know about my life in general. And I set that intention every single night before I go to bed. What I used to do as well is wake up in the morning and write down my dreams. And that is also very powerful. When I do that, I remember my dreams very vividly every night. It's almost like the accountability of it like reminds you that you have to remember more subconsciously, and you just remember more. I haven't done it as much recently, the whole writing my dreams down, but I do remember my dreams every morning when I wake up, which I love. I used to smoke a lot of weed back in 2012, and then I stopped cold turkey, and I didn't dream for some reason, or I didn't at least remember my dreams when I would smoke weed. I quit, and then ever since then, I have had such vivid dreams, and I believe that I have vivid dreams, and I remember my dreams, and I set the intention that I remember my dreams. So that's kind of something, I guess, a little bit interesting that I do as well. There's something else I do. I have something called it's a red light therapy. I stand in front of this thing for about 15 minutes a day. I'd say it's pretty consistent. And what it does is it repairs the cells in the body. It's good for recovery. It's good for sleep cycles. It's good for restorativeness, I guess you could say. But I have that in my house called red light therapy. That's something I do every day as well. So with a lot of what I'm sharing as well, the belief system I have behind a lot of what I'm sharing is that meditation, observing the thoughts, is what neutralizes resistance. It is also important to be focused and to have certain things you do every day. I know it's a more masculine way of going about it. The feminine wants to be in flow, but I think at least for me, it's important to have that kind of edge for especially since I work for myself and it's not like a job I go to every day and someone tells me what to do. I have to set that intention and kind of lead the way with my own intention and my own energy. So that's something, and another thing I've been doing recently is biking. I've been biking a lot. I bought a trail bike in Sedona, and I bought a road bike here in Las Vegas. And I've been riding pretty consistently, a couple miles. There's some bike trails close to my house that I go to. It's interesting. When I go there to these bike trails, it goes up this really hard hill to go up, but it's really steep. But then when I go down, it's super fast. So it's really fun. So it's I do the biking. The challenge for me is I want to, I've been really growing my thighs, my legs, as far as muscle, doing squats and my quads. But I'm going to start doing more cardio. I just don't want to do too much cardio that it gets in the way of the gains. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I think biking might be okay for that as long as I don't do it too extensively. I think sprints are good for what I want. Sprints actually help get thighs bigger, but long runs, 6 miles, I don't know if it's going to necessarily help. It's going to make me too more lean more than anything else. So the most powerful manifestation things that I do include being in a high vibration by doing your passion, because when you're in a high vibe state, your intentions have more power. Meditation is also a way to enhance your manifestations because you release resistance. But as you go to bed every single night, I've shared this many times before, it's from Neville Goddard, the feeling is the secret. As you go to bed at night, feel the emotions of what you want to feel. Visualize you as that version of you, not as if you're watching a movie. Imagine that is a version of you that is living the kind of lifestyle that you want, doing what you want to do for a living. Imagine it as that version of you, and then feel it inside of your heart. And as you go to bed, you are influencing the subconscious part of your brain, because what happens is as you fall asleep at night, you're going from a beta to an alpha to a theta to a delta state. It means as you're going to sleep at night, you have more and more influence over your subconscious mind that last 20 minutes. So, when we're awake, we're mainly in beta and alpha state, which doesn't influence the subconscious mind as much. The theta state is like meditation state. That's when you can really influence the subconscious mind. Now, what happens is as you go to bed at night, you are drifting into the deeper stages, so you can reprogram your subconscious mind because you're drifting off into alpha and theta state. And if you feel the emotions of what you want, you influence your subconscious mind more to thinking that's natural, especially if you do it every day. Same thing as right when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, you are going from delta to theta to alpha to beta state. So as you're going through that drifting state, what you do is you feel the emotions of what you want to experience as you are that version of you, and you wake up and just simply know that that's who you are. And what happens is with time, that becomes more and more your dominant vibration. That becomes more and more influencing of your subconscious mind. That's one of the most powerful manifestation hacks that I know of. I do it as often as I can remember, and every night I go to bed, I try to do it. Sometimes I kind of forget if I'm really tired, but I do my best. I also read every single night right before I go to bed. I use blue blocker glasses, and what I do is I wear those, and as I go to bed, it kind of protects. Blue blockers help protect you from blue light. Blue light is what keeps your mind awake, thinking that it's daytime, and a lot of artificial light has blue light in it. So what I do in like your iPad and your technology. So what I do is I look inside my iPad, and I'm reading different books. I have a Kindle with like hundreds of books, and I read every night for about half an hour to an hour before I go to bed. And I love reading before bed. And then I go meditate, and then I go to bed. So I always meditate after I read to clear my mind and everything. And then I hop right in bed. I do the energetic field around my bed, and then I go to bed. So those are my personal habits. Some of them might sound a little bit weird. I've been doing them for a while. I hope you enjoy that. If you could do me a favor and review this podcast on iTunes, it would mean the world to me. It really helps the podcast grow. I've got a lot more cool stuff coming on the podcast, cool guests coming on soon too. I'm excited for those. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, if you want to learn full-time, how to go full-time doing what you love, you go to fulltimepurpose.com. And Victor and I have a training that will show you step-by-step exactly what to do of how to go full-time doing what you love. So fulltimepurpose.com. Other than that, hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, peace, much love, and namaste.